that one, that one.
Okay.
I can hear you though. Yeah.
Check the messages now.
Right. But I can hear you though.
It's working.
I think Kasha's down in the corner. She pressed some buttons. Ken, testing. Kasha's down in the corner. She pressed some buttons. Okay. I think we're back in the game, people. Right, we can edit that bit out, can't we? We can edit that out. No. Right, what? We are going live today. This is the first time we spread the STD live over the... I've got to take the law shades off because what... No Chris, though. Apparently there is no Chris. Right, okay. Hi, guys. How's it going? We might be appearing some... this is the first time I've attempted to do this. We're now sharing that with everyone because Kat's now going to press some buttons and try and get Chris back. I can't give her a pay rise. How can I give her a pay rise? She already takes everything I have. Say hello to the people. Just say hi. Just say, look, just go hi. She doesn't want to say hi. Okay, guys, if you could bear with me a second, we're going to try and make Chris work. Now, what should... That's mine. What? Okay, you've got to check something on your screen, apparently. What? Like your mic and camera settings and speaker settings, because apparently I can hear all your stuff. And it should be... Yes? The audio has to come from the web page rather than my mic. Yes? It needs the audio feed from the Riverside thing as well. So, okay. Guys, this is quite interesting, isn't it? If you can hear, then it's Winters, then it's not... Kat is the brains of the... She is the brains of the operation. I can see my audio stuff bouncing around. Right. Guys, can you talk about it yourselves? We just ignore this. Imagine that what you're actually witnessing is something that someone with more technical skills, who doesn't need 1, 2, and the third person who isn't here at the right moment doing this. Imagine that this was all done beforehand and we actually practiced it and that it's all working really well. Imagine that in your heads. We've got Dickie, Mikey P, Ozzy, and Does in the chat and lots of others. What should happen is the Riverside stuff that we're using that I can hear, oh, nice cup of tea there, that I can hear Warmer Smith Chris on. You guys, it should share all of that with you. But apparently it's not sharing Chris. How do we feel about this, Chris? I mean, are we check the audio from Riverside Discord is going to YouTube. How? The audio from Riverside Discord is going to YouTube. Maybe there's a way where YouTube has a setting where me and you could do this together over YouTube. It would do what? But we've got people in here already. No, I want to do a live stream. But Chris is saying, do I want to do a live stream with you and then do this again tomorrow with him? No. I don't want to do this with just them. I want to do this with you. I advertised this and everything. Datsun Dead says it's probably an OBS input setting. It's probably an OBS input setting. Looks like one of those sentences that sounds like the English language, but to me it might as well as be low Gothic or something. I just get Simply Warhammer says we can come back. Okay, so we need to sort out, but see, the thing is, I won't know if the sound is sorted out with you, Chris, until we get back on and right. Yes. You're a thermos full of tea. You're ready to go. Have you pressed the buttons, Winters? Bumbling Wizard, I pressed so many buttons that I made it break. And then other people had to come in and refix the buttons that I'd pressed. What are we checking? Can Chris use signs, whiteboard and a pen? You could do that. Have you got a pen? I'm just amazed that there are 67 people watching this car crash right now. But thank you for all. So, have you tried smacking the side of the monitor and tuttering several times? 1 minute. Didn't seem to do anything. Okay. So Riverside software, which is on the screen here that we're sharing, isn't sharing the audio from Riverside. Okay. So I think if you run out of ideas down there, then we will what? Oh, what's this? Settings. Mirror video, your info, name. It's OBS and we are on Riverside in Chrome. Just keep telling Chris he's on mute. Is Chris outside? No, he's not. There might be a YouTube. Shall I try it on YouTube? No. Chris, you're muted. I know, Mikey P. We know Chris is muted. 74 people are listening to this right now and Chris is muted. I'll go old school and Skype and capture the app. What does old school and Skype and... What do you mean? Yes. Yes. We're streaming on Riverside, but your audio on Riverside is not being captured by ODS. OB. So if someone knows how to fix that, that'd be great. And to be fair, we're only listening. Yes. The other thing we could, of course, do is try a different software, but I don't know. Does YouTube? So, guys, how are you doing out there anyway? Any law questions? Was that the OBS page you had on screen? I don't know what's going on. People are pressing buttons around me, dads and dads. But thank you for. So how was your day today? It was snow this morning, wasn't it? It was a bit of snow out there. Anyone good? Yeah, I'm good. Good. And you? Yeah, good. Thanks, Taknuke. You okay there, Chris? Yeah, Sean Cronk. Yeah, Sean Cronk. On OBS, have we got chat audio? Right. I don't know what that means. Kasha, do you know what chat audio is on OBS? Show again. Hold it up again. Sean, that's from Sean Cronk. We've got my mic audio and then desktop audio is not thing. Chat audio.
I can hear.
In there. Sorry, Sean Cronk is crying. Is Chris Mike muted, Dickie? Yes. I've sat in an Xbox group chat for a long time while talking to myself. Yes, we all have done that. Sorry, I've not used OBS in about 6 years and never used Riverside. Have you considered phone a friend before he goes live at 9 p.m? Not suggesting any limbs or anything. I have considered that, but sometimes you have to work through these things on your own. You know, it's a learning exercise. Right. Are they? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Do you think because the sound is coming through these, if I took these out, then it would work?
Anything's worth a go.
So I took them out and now I can't hear you.
Okay.
So that doesn't work.
Okay.
Mind you, then I'm in the same position as everyone else who can't hear you.
Yeah, no one can hear me.
Can you talk again? I put it back in. I put you back in. Chris.
Oh, hang on.
Now I can't hear you at all. Now
they're
I
saying-
unplugged you and replugged you. I've lost you and I can't hear you, Chris.
They can hear me though.
I can't.
For a moment they heard me.
No, because I pulled these out. Now now no one can hear you, including me. We can hear him fixed. Winters, we can hear now. We can hear him now. We can hear him. You can hear him now. You can hear Warsmith Chris. You can hear both. You can hear. 1 minute. Okay, so they can hear us both.
So it was your fault.
Testing. Can they hear us both?
You can hear me?
But right now I can't hear. But I can't hear him. So I need to go back to this. So you can hear both. This is brilliant. We can hear you both. Right, guys, I'm about to potentially screw this up because right now I can't hear Warsmith Chris at all. So I'm going to go back to my thing. Chris, talk to me. Now I can hear you. Now, can you hear Warsmith Chris? But... Well, they say they can. No, now they can't. Now you're gone. So, basically, if I want to hear you, so I'm going to pull this out again, so I can't hear you again. Right now, you say something to them.
Wow, this is fantastic. This is I knew this when I signed up.
Can you hear Chris now?
When I signed up to do this live stream.
Can you hear Warsmith Chris now? And can you hear me now? Yeah, that works. Okay. So right now, the internet, the chat can hear us both, Chris. Isn't that a good thing?
That's great, yeah, but you can't hear me.
Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, you can hear me. So Chris can hear me. The internet can hear me. Everyone can hear each other. But I can't hear anything. So 1 minute. I've got another mic. 1 minute. What we doing? Take these. Try a different headset. Right, I'm trying a different headset.
I think it's more complicated than that.
I don't know which one it is. Speaker. You can hear both. Set computer output to your headphones. Leave the call output to default desktop. Set photo OBS sources to me. Hi, Liam.
Liam's going to save it.
Speakers.
Just
Now I can hear you. Yeah. And Liam's here. But you can't hear Chris now. So if I use these headphones... So I'm going to turn them off again. Okay, I've turned them off again, so now they can hear you again. I can't hear. Set computer output to your headphones. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Leave the call output default to desktop. Set computer output to... is that the settings thing down there? So, yeah, guys. Bit cold this morning. Liam's in the chat. Thanks. Whoever pulled in the reinforcements, appreciate it. You can both hear us. Chris, say something. I've been talking a lot. I've been padding.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the fact that you can't hear me, but at the same time, it means I can say stuff to people about you, and you can't really tell that I'm doing it. So what should I say about Winters? Should I tell you what it's really like having to do a live stream with him? Before this happened, I thought, I'm putting my hands in... I'm putting my faith... I'm putting my
Computer output
internet
button in right hand
life in the
corner.
hands of Winters tonight.
Because
And I should have known. I should have known this, shouldn't I? Coming into it, like, I'm sure people warned me, and I said, "No, it's fine. He knows what he's doing now."
computer output
What
button. So output in bottom right hand. Computer
gonna
output
stop
in
being
bottom
rude
right hand
about
corner. It
Windows.
should be that one.
When this does start, though, the idea is that
Oh,
God, I'm a bit quiet.
ring him.
What about now? Is that
Chris
better?
needs turning up a little bit. Again, Datsun Des says you need turning up, Chris. I've no
Is
idea
that better,
how I did
everybody?
do
Am I
that.
loud enough for you now? Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of this, we're going to reveal that it was all a big
Keep him
scripted
entertained,
joke.
Chris.
Yeah, it was a big.
Doing well.
It would be like, we had it working all along, but we wanted to do a funny little bit that lasted over half an hour about how we couldn't get the tech working. 'Cause, we were playing into the
A little bit louder.
louder again. So demanding. So I've got to shout, basically. Hang on, let me bring it closer.
Okay, Chris. Can you hear me?
I can hear
The
you.
Windows properties, yeah?
What? You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Can. Okay.
I can't go back there because I don't want to be picked up by the name.
We've called in the big guns.
Yeah,
We're in communication with tech support.
yeah,
Everything's fine.
Things might happen in a minute. We can edit this out.
yeah. This is all. We'll do it. We'll do it on
Apparently,
the night.
it's something to do with Google. And
Google. Chrome's
Tech support-
audio output, is it? Is it?
I
Is it
can't
not-
hear you.
yeah.
Apparently, you're a bit quiet though.
No, I've started
Oh,
shouting.
you need
now,
to
it's
put that
fine.
back up.
Where is that one?
Not that one.
Oh,
that one.
Simon. No matter what I do, it's never
That's my
good
desktop,
enough.
people. Hope you liked it.
How about
You
if I
can't do
talk?
anything.
That's my desktop.
Can you just go?
Well, you can put my desktop up there and then scroll it across to the other one. So just do what you did.
No.
What?
This is genuinely the most fun I've had creating content.
Okay,
In
so I'm being told we're going to be right back.
Oh,
This is what I'm being told.
we're starting again, are we? Should we just invite people round? Sorry, I was. If you can, I think people can still hear me. So, what should I sing? I can hear you fine. Yeah. Do love a nice sourdough. I think Jesus was quite a poor boy. Ave Maria. Okay. The audio is still rolling, by the way, Winters. So I'm just going to have a little chat with people. Tiger bread is really good, but a good sourdough is nice. Or just a nice farmhouse loaf if it's been freshly baked. You know, no one really likes supermarket bread, like the standard bread, and I don't know, Hovis and stuff is a bit basic, isn't it? Doesn't have the flavour. I could start reading the. I could start Should I? Sorry about the vaping. But I'm not allowed to vape when I'm on camera. But technically, I'm not visible, so you know, I can smash this vape, and it just sounds like I've got terrible breathing problems, which I do. But yeah, I'm talking to everybody. Don't worry. What should I read? Biscuit of choice is a Maryland cookie, or perhaps a nice custard cream. Can't be a cheap 14p custard cream though. They just don't have the right flavour. Too synthetic. Hovris is the man. Hovris is the man. I can't remember the name of the dog. The other one is Hovris and it's quite hard to do this because I can hear everything from Winterside as well. So I'm kind of talking with someone talking over me. Grolton. No, Grolton's the dog. Hovris is the man. Grolton's the dog. Right, Black Library. Let's see what I've got. Anyone who's got me on WhatsApp, can you send me a Black Library book and I'll just start reading it? Oh, we might have fixed it, guys. We're going live. I can hear you. You can hear me.
Screen share.
No, not that one. Do we do that one? I think that's that one. It's not that one. I need to press screen share, which is that one. Can you hear me?
Can you hear both of them?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
People hear you?
Can the people hear me? Is this working? Speak, Chris. Speak.
Right, I'm speaking. Can you hear me? If you can't hear me, I'm going to go home.
No, I can definitely hear you now. They can hear us both now. Apparently, shall I tell you what the thing is?
Yeah, what was the thing?
Okay, so see this wire?
Yep.
Yeah, that wire there. I had it in the PC, and apparently you're supposed to put the wire into the microphone. Who knew these things?
Well, I'd hope that someone who live streams on a regular basis would know these things, but you know.
Well, you'd hope that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Right, can we all just forget what happened before and we'll start afresh like this is like we're at the very start.
And a big shout out to Liam Dempsey's YouTube channel and my wife Kat.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks to both of you. Apologies. What I was trying to say to you is that it was really hard with these headphones on. I could hear Kat, Liam and Winters, and I was trying to speak to answer your questions, but you know when someone is like directly speaking into your ear hole while you're trying to say something, it really like confuses your brainwaves. I forgot who was Hovris. I forgot who was Gordon.
Welcome.
But I did get my bread right.
Good.
So there we go.
Well,
Okay.
Well,
Can we just draw a line? Are we going to draw a line?
I like what Mikey P said, shouting in caps. Welcome to this brand new, fresh live stream. I can definitely edit all that out on the VOD later. Is the sound good for both of us?
Am I okay?
You're very loud in my ears. I think I can actually turn you down on this. So say
You can't turn me down.
I can turn you down actually. There you go.
Yeah, you can.
I can turn you.
Be careful. Don't play with any more settings.
I'm
like
not
this.
touching shit, yo.
Now, we did say, I said on Instagram and everything, I did say tonight live at 8:38.
Did you say 8:38?
Yeah, I said, so we're actually exactly on time.
Bang on. A wizard is never late. A wizard turns up exactly when he's... yes.
Right. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Right, so I can maximize this now so I can actually... because I can't actually see what's going on YouTube because I've got 3 things going on here.
You do that. I'm not going to start until we are...
Right, so this is definitely getting cut out of the VOD when it goes up, I think. Right, so Chris, do you want to do the intro then? Come on, let's go.
Hi, welcome to the STC Live, the brand new live show that we're bringing to you tonight at 8:38 as promised.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, this is something that a couple of nights ago, in the middle of the night, I just got this huge wall of text from Winters, and it said, "I hope that you don't keep your sound on at night, lol, because if you are, you're about to suffer." And he said, "Let's do STC Live. Let's get people on board. Fill the room up with people, and then we'll just talk about lore questions that people bring up, and we'll filter it out, and we'll tell people, you know, sorry, your question's shit. We're not going to answer it, or we'll say to people, that's a great question. We'll talk about it. It's going to be very casual. We're just going to flow. We're going to go with the flow.
You know what?
People are saying, what?
You know, Joe Banner, this guy, he said he thinks we should cut everything after this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people enjoyed what just happened, but at the same time, I think I think it was wearing thin.
You know, when he said I sent you that text late night, it was on 1:03 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I hope you don't keep your phone on at night because I've had an idea I need to share. Live STD.
Yes.
Did you keep it on? Did it message you? Because then there was a wall of other chats as I was...
No, I was asleep.
The thing here, I was trying to... Look, that's us on YouTube and the thing.
Oh, wow. Look,
yeah.
That's what I messaged.
You were asleep, so it didn't beep the crap out of you.
No, so it was all good. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, wow, a lot of that stuff happened. And I agreed. I said, let's do it. So we're here now. Everything's working absolutely fine. Professional outfit as per usual. So the idea is now we've got all these lovely people in the chat.
Yes.
And, you know, we can start saying, hey, guys, what kind of stuff should we talk about? What kind of questions do we
Can we swear?
I think we should.
Can we say can we say shit and bugger?
We can. We're not allowed to say...
Eldar.
Eldar is one we can't say. And Imperial Fists we shouldn't say. There's a few other ones. But
Cooch.
We can say cooch.
Can we?
Don't say queef.
Queef.
Queef's a bit crude.
Is it?
I think, yeah. Just before we go on,
well,
though,
it's a good job that you didn't say it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Say it. Cut it out.
We can cut that out. You see, I've got the editing skills afterwards. You've got the Terry Wogan voice to keep this shit show rolling, and I can say shit. Go on then. Intro. Have we done the intro? What
I've done the intro.
Okay.
I was about to say, we did get a few questions during that.
Mikey P said clunge.
That's rude as
Eric
well.
says moist. I like moist. It sounds moist.
It is one of those words that it sounds like what it looks like. But what's your favourite type of bread? We're not going to talk about these kind of questions, but I do want to know what your favourite kind of bread is, because I said sourdough.
I do like a
and Des said tiger bread, and when he said it, I thought I actually really like tiger bread as well.
Okay.
With that lovely top.
Tiger.
What is the best bread?
Sourdough is quite nice. I do like some sourdough. Yeah.
It's getting a bit of hate for being a hipster bread.
I mean, the thing is though, if you're just eating bread, are you talking about just bread? Because there's a difference between eating bread and eating bread with something in it.
Yeah.
Are you talking raw bread, raw, hard?
I think raw bread, yeah, it's got to be good quality bread. It's got to be freshly baked, right? Like baked that day at least in an artisan bakery if you're going to eat it raw.
Yeah.
You know what isn't great?
What?
And that's those part baked ones that you get, and it's like, oh, finish it in the oven. It's like it doesn't. It still tastes like the same bread as if you bought it fully cooked.
But it's warmer and crunchy.
But it's warmer.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not dough. No, it's part baked. Anyway, we've got some people. The Gitman just said, "Can we talk about joining the Light of the Emperor? I have joined the Light of the Emperor on my birthday." I don't quite know what that means. Does that mean he got some Space Marines?
I think that means he's probably dead and he's joined the Light of the Emperor and he's talking to us from the grave.
Yeah, or we've
Wow.
got some grave talking going on.
An
here.
internet first. We have spirits in the chat, people.
Grave talking. Right, so this is what we need. Starting right now, we've got people in here. We've got lots of people in here, and they're all in here to talk about lore, because this is the story time podcast. Right?
Yes. Is there another one
The
coming
STC.
soon? And
We
like
have-
a proper filmed one.
There is a proper filmed one.
Yeah.
And it has it's been finished up like a week ago or something, and
Was
it's
it?
coming out this week. Yeah, we're very cash with this, right? It's coming out this week or next week or whenever.
Oh yeah, you sent it to me.
I
I'll
have
put
sent
that
it
one
to
up tomorrow, so it'll be double STC. Oh, we have our first
Double
chat.
STC.
We have a first chat. We have
Oh.
a first chat.
It's the guy who I affectionately refer to as incorrectly on the ECP as Ginger Steve when it's Ginger. I didn't put two and two together because I'm an idiot. Ginger Steve. Let's all thank Liam Dempsey in chat so we get to hear all this cool 40k lore from two of the people who have lived through all of it.
Yeah.
Either that or they had a hard paper round. Older than Horus. Wow,
Well,
he's calling us.
thank you for your donation. If we get to lore, that would be a miracle. But that's why I've got you here, Warsmith Chris. You're here to keep me on target. Stay on
Really?
target. Stay on target. You're supposed to be reading the chats and things
Yeah.
so we can answer some lore questions. Because let's
I
face it,
have
on an STD, we might get one done.
Yeah, I have a great reputation of staying on topic and not going off on tangents. Don't
Oh,
I? So
you
this
are.
Is a great recipe. Anyway, right, let's have a look. See what we've got. I mean, Neil Walsh started off with, should I read the first 5 books of the heresy? Some say just the first 4. I say go for it. Make sure you read the first 4, and then you can just go and do what you want after that.
The first
I think the first 4 are key because they're fantastic, and then I say, what are you interested in? Do you want to go read about some Dark Angels? Do you want to go read more about the Chaos stuff? You can keep going in order if you want, or you can go off and enjoy things in different orders. It's fine. You do you.
You do you.
No.
Hugo's gifted 5 memberships. He keeps jumping in. He keeps gifting memberships. Hugo is a legend. Everyone give Hugo a warm hand on his entrance for gifting all these memberships here. And brother Raphaeus from Virginia
Yeah,
in
I
the
saw
colonies has asked, is Alfarius dead or is he still alive in the 41st millennium? Well,
He's dead.
What?
He's dead.
What?
He's dead.
That's a big spoiler if he is.
Well, okay. If he is dead, I feel like he's dead. I've got nothing to back that up, though. You're the law master. You might have other things to say, but I think he's dead.
Well, he actually died on screen, but did he? Was he? Is he? So, I don't. It's the many heads of the Hydra. Who knows? It's like he gets knocked down, he gets up again. You're never going to keep him down. He gets knocked down, tub thumping. So the answer to that question is yes and no. No and yes is.
I think it's worth saying as well that there's going to be some spoilers. We'll try and avoid obvious major spoilers, but I think a lot of the status quo in the 41st millennium is known. We know that certain people are missing and gone or dead or, assumed dead. But just because we read about it,
Yeah.
and because it is written in a book, it doesn't mean that A, GW aren't going to retcon it later, or B, it was left deliberately in a state where they could change it.
Officially 4. Horus, Sanguinius, Ferrus, Kurz.
Yes.
Alfarius? But, I mean, I'm not still convinced that they can't bring Ferrus back or someone back or Horus back, or who knows if Sanguinius really is dead. Let's face it, if they don't kill him, they've got another shiny plastic model that they can sell in the future, haven't they?
That's true.
So
I've got a personal grievance with this, though. I think if they bring back people like Ferrus Manus and Sanguinius, who are canonically very dead and that everyone knows they're dead, it does remove the excitement and the peril aspect. You know what I mean? So if you're reading a book later on and a big part of it, if they do a new 42nd millennium story arc and all this crazy stuff happens and someone dies, you might just be sitting there thinking, yeah, but are they just going to change this later, or is this person just going to come back? I think you have to have some true loss to get the full experience. So they have left Primarchs in situations, a lot of them in situations where we don't know, or they're in a stasis, or there's something going on with it. And I don't mind them being brought back slowly.
Well, I think
they're not gone.
I think you're a chaos scumbag. I mean, we had some true loss. Cadia fell. What more do you want? The gateway to the... Come on now. A whole
Easy
planet.
ride.
You can have that. But the rest of it is ours. Okay?
Right.
And Sullivan Gilbert, the Emperor is not the bad guy. He is our Lord and Savior. He unified the galaxy and drove out the Xenos and the Chaos and the things like that, and it's been ever so great since he turned up and made everything wonderful. Right, Law, hit me with some rhythm stick. Dawn was dead, then it changed to an accident at work and time off sick. He was supposed to have his hand. So the old retcon stuff is he did a thing, they found his hand, which is a bit Andy, and that was it. But now there's talk that Dawn might be coming back as well. These unnumbered suns. We shall see if they return. Chris, go, talk to me.
Right, I'm just going through. Tat Nuke says, I thought according to law that STCs contained all the knowledge of mankind. They do, but in bits and pieces.
Well, it depends on the STC and the STC
exactly.
fragment. There's different types of STC.
Yeah. Okay.
There's STC machines, which are massive, loads of knowledge of all mankind's. Then there are STC fragments, backups, hard copies or paper copies or discs. So just in case the machine went down, how mankind could do this and this and this and this. And essentially what the Mechanicum are looking for in the 41st millennium are STC fragments, recorded bits that STC machines stamped out. But the OG STC machines, and then of course they must have been on a different order of magnitude as well. There must have been some kind of replicator ship that you had on the Enterprise that you went up to and you pressed one thing and you said some things and it made the things that you need, or another type of STC machine that you set and you set it off on a jet plane to a different planet, and then you went to the different planet 10 years later, and then all of a sudden the planet was nice and breathable and there were chairs and McDonald's drive-thrus and people had a lovely time. And the STC is also a super intelligent AI that can talk to people and call them the Leagues of Votan and put them into these coffin things on which they get born, and then they live in the center of the galaxy and everything's fine except for the fact that they get squashed a bit. We have another donation from Bobby Hopper. Is it Hopper or Hooper?
Hopper.
I'm
an Ultramarine fan, and good or bad will always be a fan. That's fine. Don't feel ashamed of that. Is there anything in their lore, good or bad, that is a favourite or particularly stands out for either of you? Well, I'll go first because I've got less to say.
Yep.
I think, despite the rap that Ultramarines get for being the standard guys, I think it literally is just... They've got an unfair rap for being the poster boys and they appear in everything. Therefore, people say they're a little bit boring. But actually, the more you read about Bobby G, the more he appears the more he's fleshed out by good authors. And the more you know about the Ultramarines, they are actually a very cool... The way they operate, the way they think, gives them a very unique feel for a start. And they are essentially the closest thing to living a decent existence you could hope for. Hanging around with the Ultramarines is
in the 500 worlds, yeah.
And their worlds, they are... Yeah. If you want to be good guys in the 41st millennium, there's not any options because everyone's kind of a bit mean, no matter where you go. But Ultramarines might give you a slightly safer life, let's say.
Is there any bit in their lore, good or bad, that his favourite particularly stands out? Aniad Theo from the first Red Marked, from the Fall of Kauth. His story arc is fantastic, and the fact that Guilliman got blown out of an airlock and stayed around the outside of his flagship, killing word bearers for about 3 hours until they brought him back into the airlock and closed the thing behind, and the frost and the absolute frozenness. Did you know this bit from the No Fear?
No.
So there's a battle in No Fear where They're fighting the word bearers. This is how cool Guilliman is. There's a detonation. They all get blown out into space, right? And Guilliman didn't have his helmet on. So he's in the vacuum of space, minus 420 degrees, or it's about 4 million Fahrenheit if you're an American or whatever. But it's very cold out there. And so they all assume he's dead. They're all fighting. And then sometime later, like a number of hours later, they open up this airlock and there's Guilliman. And the airlock door shut behind, and he cracks all the stuff. And like, my lord, how did you manage to stay alive? He said, I held my breath.
Nice.
That is particularly good.
He is a badass, yeah. The only thing I seem to remember about Guilliman for some reason that sticks in my mind is the fact that he got knifed. He got shanked by Snake Fulgrim at one point.
But he got better.
Life. He did get better, but for me, it's like, think of stuff about Guilliman. Well, he did get shanked that one time.
But he get better.
What else happened to him? Oh, he did get shanked that one time. Yeah.
Well, there's also Ultramarines Law. Uriel Ventrius, that series is very good. The second one in particular, which is there's a Tyranid High Fleet attack. Graham McNeil covers I think the Tyranid High Fleet attack in the Uriel Ventrius book 2 is better than the Devastation of Baal. I think it's right. I think it's written better. I prefer it as a thing, as a feel.
Also in the lore as well, Guilliman, there's quite a few encounters where normal people or normal space marines from the 41st millennium are meeting Guilliman for the first time, having never seen a Primarch before, right? And only hearing the stories. And in quite a lot of those situations, the writing is really awesome and really conveys how this guy is just the next level. His voice, everything about him is humanity amplified times 11.
Okay.
And I think that's really cool. I'm reading Helbrecht at the moment, and the bit where Guilliman walks in and just talks to him about his... Obviously, Guilliman's not that happy with the Templars because they did the thing that he doesn't want people to do, which is like proper...
Something made
themselves to an emperor religion.
That wasn't me.
That was me. I just beat randomly.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I hope that answered a bit of question about the Ultramarines.
I also missed another chat. Thanks, Des and Dead, for reminding me that Reg chucked in a donation about thoughts about fielding Deathwing equivalent squads from successor chapters alongside Deathwing. It's partly easier to tell which squad is which. My thoughts on that is it sounds cool and it's your 40k. You should play your 40k with your miniatures the way you want to play it, either open, narrative, or the many different ways of match play. The match play from the main rulebook, the whatever we're on now, the Psychic Awakening, Pariah, Nexus, Arcs of Puppies. You can play that one, you can play Tempest of War, you can play it whichever way you want to, and you can wrap whatever lore you want to around your Space Marine chapters and successor. That's the glory box, the glory hole that you step into when you play Warhammer 40k. It's a deep, deep glory hole. If you go to tournaments and things and official stuff, there might be rules on it, but in a galaxy of a billion stars, there's more than enough space for you, your artistry, your imagination, your personality, your drive. So I encourage you to plunge yourself into that glory hole.
And the actual amount of recorded lore there is there's more for some than others, but there's loads of just huge blank spaces in the lore of nearly every single faction in the game. Huge blank spaces. And just because it's not there yet doesn't mean that someone from the Black Library isn't intending to write that lore later on, and therefore don't feel confined to only what is written. If it feels right, if it makes sense to you narratively and it feels right, it can probably work in one way or another.
Okay.
So don't forget to do that.
There's an interesting question here, which is Eric Kyle. Lost Space Marine chapters. How were they lost? That's what I find super interesting. Well, in the last STD that we did, we actually talked about Legions 1 through 10. And in the second STD that we did, which I forgot to... You know what, Chris? I was actually chatting to my mate Alex SEO about, hey, have you seen both of the STDs on all the chapters and all the Legions yet? And he said, no, I haven't seen both of them. I must have missed the second one. So I went on the phone and on the YouTube and said, look, here it is. And then I realised I hadn't actually put the second one up. Well, in both of those last two, well, the last one and the next one that's going to come out tomorrow, we actually talk through each legion, each Primarch in detail, and actually give quite a few. I actually theory hammer the crap out of the. So what has happened? We know what has happened to one of them for certain, because at the very end of Prospero Burns, Caspar Hauser talks to the Remembrancer, their Jarl, all the way through it. Actually has one final conversation with the Wolfkin, Lehman Russ, before he puts him back under the ice again. And he says, well, I'll never forget this. You know, it's the first time ever. This has been the Imperial sanction, the Emperor's sanction has been put on another legion. And Russ chuckles deeply and says no, not the first time. So we know that the wolves of Fenris have been unleashed once, at least, before on one of the legions. So they actually made it into the heresy. They actually made it in to the crusade. And I believe in the first STD that we did, when we was talking about, I talked about my theories on the other one, he's a Magnus, a Kurz, and almost ran, and a bit of an aborted. But go and listen to them, and you'll get the breakdown on that in a bit fuller.
We theorize on how legions kind of echo each other in a certain way in different directions. So you have the very extreme ends of certain roles and other ends, and it could be that the missing legions were kind of an extreme echo of another existing legion, and therefore it was almost like testing the water. That the Emperor was testing just how fanatical can you have a legion of Space Marines, or how psychic can you have a legion of Space Marines?
How crazy can you go? Let's face it, there was a legion running around with nails in its head. Yep. There were a legion running around doing mass terror tactics so far to the extreme that he even blew up his own planet. There was a legion running around with so much psychic potential in them, the flesh change was turning them into spawn. It's easy to say that one of the legions, at least, was right out on that length of extreme, but so far, but not able to be, so far on the extreme as to be unfunctionable, unworkable. Yes. The Thousand Sons were almost completely sanctioned and recalled to Terra just before they found Magnus. Their legion would have been extinguished from the records as well if it had been another 2 years, 2 months, 2 days before they found Magnus. So one of the legions definitely failed in the classical sense of this experiment didn't work, and one of the legions almost certainly failed, because we know almost certainly nothing about them. But one of the legions was executed by the wolves.
And we go into a lot more. I think we ramble on for a good 40 minutes about that particular bit in the STC.
Yeah, we do. Jerome is calling in from the Weatherspoons to say hi.
Oh,
hi, Jerome.
Get us a pint in, mate, will ya?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was another one I spotted a minute ago.
Did you? From
Boss Ferratu, about the theory that Cypher is a Megon, and he's been bringing the Lion Sword to the Emperor. He's been biding his time up to now. Now, I've heard, I mean, we know that there's good reason to believe that his sword is the Lion's Sword, or a very special sword.
Yes.
I've heard this thrown around a lot. I didn't read the books that came out with the whole, what was it called, the when the Triumvirate came out and all that lot, and Gilliman came
the Gathering Storm,
and Cypher was there in the same.
Yeah.
And, what was said about what was going on then? Did you read those? Do we know what we were told Cypher was doing, or was it just the Cypher of the Dark Angels was
the Cypher of the
good?
Well, in the Gathering Storm, the Cypher of the Dark Angels turned up to help Gulliman reach Terra, because he wanted to get there too. And welcome Kev3475 to the 13th Tier 1. Hey. Thank you. That unlocks emojis and badges and things like that. Tier 2 will unlock the Discord, and Tier 3 will unlock all of the above and lots of extra videos. But thank you for becoming a channel member. No, they didn't give much away during the Gathering Storm, the Fall of Cadia book series. But we do know who Cypher is. There's lots of there's lots of information out there about Cypher if you want to be able to find it.
Is this the current Cypher, the one that we know is running around? Because we know that Cypher is a role, right, rather than a person.
Well, OG it was, yeah. I can't spoil it for anyone, though. And for those who know. All I can say is, I can't say.
Where can someone go and read? What do you know? Can you remember where exactly people need to go to find out more?
I can't say.
Oh.
I can't say. I think some questions will certainly be answered when the lion comes back.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it there then. Fine. We need more lore questions, please, people. Come on. Think of all the... We've got Winters right here, ready to answer stuff, and me to babble over him as well. Now's the time.
I don't know. I mean, we had like 45 minutes of fucking up the intro, and we've had 20 minutes of lore so far. But I am actually impressed by you, Chris, because we have hit some lore today.
We have actually, yeah.
We've ticked that box.
Lionheart09JM says, I can see GW doing a U-turn and bringing back Sanguinius in 40k because it makes money, and just make up a reason why the Black Rage would still be around. I don't think so. I hope not. I think there's been like leaks and rumors and stuff going around all over the place, and stuff on Reddit talking about the avatar of Sanguinius and stuff like this. Now we've got the Sanguinor, who already exists there. I think that the best you're going to get is a reshaping of the Sanguinor. I don't see... although it is common for people to think that GW will always go for horrible money-grabbing things and stuff like that, I don't think they are as bad as people say. And I'm hoping that Sanguinius will never return, and we will see maybe something through the Sanguinor, something that represents... his inspiration or something, whether it is an avatar of Sanguinius or not, some kind of spiritual thing.
I don't know if Games Workshop would ever be cynical enough to just money grab and make a miniature for the sake of selling it because loads of people would want to buy it, right? I mean, they wouldn't do that. Not Games Workshop.
Stop. They're my friends. But
so Brother Ralphia says, who do you think the King in Yellow is? Dawn or Valdor? Well, the King in Yellow could be either of them. Who do I think it is? Who do you think it is? Do you know what we're talking about here?
I do know what you're talking about.
So don't spoil it for anyone, but who do you think it is? If you had to guess. If you had to pick one, gun to the head time, is it Valdor or is it Dawn?
I'm going to go with Valdor. And the reason... I don't know if there is a particular point in Dawn being important at the moment.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to... Yeah, like you said, we don't want to go too far.
Well, I'm going to say you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not the King in Gold, it's the King in Yellow. So it's Dawn. He's yellow. See?
But then it's just too obvious. Do you know what I mean?
It's not too... No, listen, it's the King in Yellow. Not the King in Gold with a nice red cape and a red plume. He's a King in Yellow.
All right. It's Dawn then.
So it's Dawn. It's got to be Dawn. It says it on the tin.
Yeah, the problem is I've got that built-in instinct for it to be not Dawn. But
Vanguard Wargaming suggests, didn't they confirm it's Valdor? No, they didn't spoil the third book in the Beckwin trilogy and confirm that it's Valdor. That's the rumour going around most of the interwebs, that it is indeed Valdor. But
yeah, but gold is just sparkly yellow is also a valid point.
Gold is just sparkly yellow is not a valid point. Gold is not sparkly yellow. Gold is... Look, so if I...
Okay, here we go. Now we've set it off. Let me find an example.
This is gold, right?
Yeah. That's a metallic colour.
This is yellow.
Okay, but what colour, if you weren't allowed to describe gold as a metallic...
If I add my sparkly to my yellow, it does not gold make.
Does it not?
Proof. There you go. I've just bossed that. What?
Okay, fine. All right, guys.
Oh no! I just hurt Sultavits. It's okay. We have the power to rebuild him. Dawn has golden armor, Viridian Shallow says, and yes, he's absolutely correct. Dawn does wear golden armor. Stop coming here with your sensible things and telling us the right answers to the things, and that both of them actually wear gold and neither of them is actually in yellow. Stop it with your sensibleness. You're in the wrong stream. It's yellow gold, not white gold. Kev 3475. See, they're pitching in now. They're getting the idea. Mikey P's going ha ha ah, which doesn't.
He's got a lot of clever things to say.
I know chat. He has, and Jerome's in the pub getting pissed up, and what's he doing? Why is he in a Weatherspoons anyway? I mean, there's
he's a young lad. He's only 15 or 16, isn't he? And that's what you do when you're that age.
Yeah.
Sea Dragon's made a really good point.
Has he?
Can you talk about some of the Sisters lore, or is it just about Space Marines?
I can talk about Sisters, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. We have focused way too much on Space Marines. There is so much else we could talk about. But one of the other things as well is that this isn't the only time.
Bad Moon's like yellow. Bad Moon's like yellow and shiny gold things. You see, so it could be a massive orc.
In STC Live, next time, not that this wasn't the most professional. This was very professional.
Yes.
And on time and everything. But the point is, if you want to hear stuff that isn't Space Marines, these live ones are about you asking questions and us talking about it. So if you want to talk about things that aren't Space Marines, just ask questions about things that aren't Space Marines. The STC recorded podcast is going to branch out, is going to go through everything eventually, right? We're just working our way through. The way it happens to be is that we started with the lore is very heavily around the Imperium at the start, right? Very heavily set. We did mention a little bit of Necrons and Eldar and things like that. The next episode we're doing is more focused on Chaos.
Is it?
Which we said we'd do it. We said we'd have a look at the other side of the Horus Heresy argument, because we've gone through the chapters. But if you in these STC live sessions, if you want to talk about some Xenos races, get some bit of Xenos lore going, get a bit of Chaos lore going, just come at us with questions. We can talk about anything.
Well, we've gone through, on the STD, we've gone through the complete history of everything ever. I mean, we started off with Necrons and the old
War
ones.
in Heaven is where we started.
And things like that. What does the Emperor order in the pub? Exterminatus. Lie in the heart. Can you confirm if Sanguinius is bones or in stasis like Gulliman was? Because I'm not sure how the Blood Angels have an unlimited supply of his blood when making new Marines. Well, the answer to that question is called the gene seed. What happens is one of the implants of the 19 implants, well now 22 implants that humans get when they transcend, become transhuman and become a space marine. One of them, along with the Laraman cells and all that sort of stuff, is a gene seed which grows under the nape of the neck here, just below the black carapace, and it continually grows and grows and turns into this like a little maggot, a tiny baby maggot. And periodically what happens is the apothecaries come along and take it out and take it out and take it out and take it out. And then when space marines die on the battlefield, that's the last time those gene seeds are popping around. So that's the apothecaries. They go along and they take that out away. And with that gene seed,
if you have the Primaris apothecary, you can actually see that organ that he's popped out of one. So
yeah, so you need
your apothecaries.
You need gene seeds in order to make new Marines. You can get them from Primarchs. In fact, the pure strain gene seed from Magnus is what saved his Legion, and there's a couple of other examples of that as well out there. But yeah, so long as you've got Space Marines producing gene seed, Space Marines from the seed of Space Marines, more Space Marines can be born. And people say they don't have sex, but there you go, their seed does live on.
There is also a feather from Sanguinius's wing that's trapped in stasis. I believe it's got a little fleck of blood on it as well.
Is it?
That is trapped forever in the moment that it fell from him in this little stasis field. Ooh. It's a very treasured relic.
A little feather.
Kev3475 actually says, where is the best place to learn the lore for demons? Totally new to Warhammer. Now, like I said, we're actually going to do, in the next episode, not the one coming out tomorrow, but the next one that we're going to record, we're going to start talking about Chaos. But funny enough, Chaos demons as they are now weren't fully realised.
I can hear the popo.
The popo, they've heard we're talking about Chaos. They're whipping in. Weren't fully realised as they are in 40k demons. One of the best places is actually the codexes are probably quite good for demons because they are never they're often not. You're not going to have many things written from their perspective. There are some. There's a lot more in Age of Sigmar lore actually, which kind of still works. There's some good stuff with the Nurgle demons in some of the books as well, which is worth checking out. But we're going to go through those, and I'm sure we'll do demon lore later on. But the main thing you got to do is just check out the main gods first, for the main 4 gods, and go from there.
So what Warsmith Chris is attempting to say is there's no single source. Never mind. Move on.
Yeah, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not good.
Unfortunately, demons are going to be a lot harder to really get to the core of without reading lots of books where they're the enemies and gathering bits and pieces, because you tend to not get demon-centered books.
Are there any? And again, there's Jordan here asking, are there any good books or audio books of Tyranids from their perspective? There is nothing good from the Tyranid perspective either. Not from their perspective.
No, there is. There's one incredibly good one.
What's that one?
That is the Desolation of Smaug. I was going to Smaug.
Desolation of Baal.
Yes.
From their perspective?
There are chapters which deal with the Tyranid side of thing, and they're fantastic.
From their mindset. I mean, I read that book, but that didn't stick in my brain at all. I
mean, it's quite hard, the fact that they've got a single mind, but you do get an idea of how they operate, in the sense you've got the lictor that it talks about how it feels and how it changes and how it's growing. Arriving.
Yeah,
you're going to get the closest look at what it's like to be a Tyranid that you're going to get, unless they do a book called Hive Mind, which is like, and today I spawned another 10 million termagants, and they had a great time.
Yeah, I mean, how do you write from an alien perspective that is so alien from human? Surely we wouldn't be able to comprehend it. It'd be like trying to talk to a dolphin.
Yeah. In the codexes, the Tyranid codexes, I haven't read the newest one, but in the 8th edition Tyranid codex, all the fluff bits were written from the perspective of like survivors and remembrances and Space Marine captains and stuff.
Okay.
Talking about things that happened. You don't get anything from their perspective. But I guess the other thing we've got, would be reading some Gene Stealer Cults books. It is very specifically turning into different versions of Gene Stealers, but you're getting a bit of something there. So it is tough.
It is tough
to write a Hive Mind. Would you like to see a redemption of the Fallen via Cypher? Says Deltafly. It can't. It's a driving force of Dark Angels.
Many years have passed, 10,000 years. You can't. It's like some Night Lords never turn to Chaos. Some renegade Space Marines out there would have never. It's like the Alpha Legion. Okay. Once you turn from the light of the Emperor for whatever reason, then you will dwell in the darkness and you're damned. So there might be some Alpha Legion. There might be, well, it's your 40k, play it your way. But so there's probably some Alpha Legion and some Night Lords out there that are still pure, but they can never redeem themselves because the 99 other thousand of all the other Alpha Legion, they're bad. They're bad. Yeah. So there is no redemption. Once you turn from the light, you are always in the dark.
And you've seen how much shit that like loyalists get from Inquisition forces and stuff. Imagine walking around going, "Yeah, I know my buddies did some real bad stuff, but I'm totally cool." They're going to be all over. They're going to be hounding you all the time.
There's no redemption for them.
There's no redemption. The only redemption the only way to get out of it is in death. Although, has there ever been? I say that there is teased stuff in the Death Watch. The Black Shields. The Black Shields is suggesting that perhaps are some naughty boys. He's going off. The Black Shields, perhaps there are some naughty boys. They scratch off their shoulder pads. And I know that in some of the books, without spoiling it, there are some more dubious Marines who are still technically loyalists who have joined them. Perhaps because they've done something a bit too naughty with psychic shenanigans and stuff. But I'd say there could well be a chance that there's a loyalist Fallen or two have been snuck into the
Yeah.
Death Watch, and they just keep them. They just put their dorm down the other end of the building to the Dark Angels guy with the power sword, because
There's almost
in case he
certainly
spots
some
him.
chaos ones in and amongst it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Big Badram asks, what's the deal with the Inquisition and the Mechanicum? Do they do their own thing? They investigate them. I can't imagine them getting on very well, which is a very interesting question. Do the Inquisition investigate the Mechanicum? Is there any overlap there? And the answer is no. There is absolutely zero overlap between the Inquisition and the Mechanicum because of the Treaty of Mars. The Mechanicum are supposed to investigate their own and run their own affairs. And indeed, there is a character, there is a class of adepts in and amongst the Mechanicum that do the role of the Inquisition. And they're the Architua Magisteriums. Because I had to get the book here just to remind myself what the names were. The Architua Magisterians. They're the accusers and judges of tech heresy and executioners of heretic magi. They're the accusers. They're the Inquisition for the AdMech. The Inquisition would only really get involved with the AdMech if it turned to bad mech, like get infiltrated by Chaos and Chaos Forges and things like that. Any threat external to the Imperium. But no, they leave them to their own devices as according to the Treaty of Mars.
I do love a bit of bad mech. There's been a couple of mentions in here as well, going back to the sanguineous blood thing.
Yes.
First of all, yes, that was attempted to be gifted to Gabriel Seth, the feather in stasis. I can't remember whether he refused it or not in the book. He certainly wasn't like readily accepting of it. And there is so cast your mind back to it. There is a kind of weird thing that Blood Angels do where they go in a coffin,
right,
and they have like blood transfusions.
Yeah.
And I can't remember whether that's supposed to be. Is it just like gene seed enriched blood, or is it like lab blood, or I can't remember the reason for it. It's obviously something to do with suppressing their the gene flaws, but
you're going back to deep lore there from ages ago. We haven't had any information on that for a while. So do they still do it, or is it something that? Because nothing's ever really retconned in 40k. It's been a while.
All goes into the pot, doesn't it?
It's been a while since I've heard that one.
And the other thing that we've mentioned in the STC before,
yes,
and that you can remember this when you're writing your own narrative, is that the lore has often been said to have been written. I mean, one of the ways that GW have kind of bodged the fact that stuff is all over the place is that it's unreliable. What we know is sometimes the released version, the spin doctored version, and you can kind of justify a lot of the overlap and stuff with us, with the knowledge that gets out there being suppressed or changed.
What are you on about?
I'm just saying that in terms of 40k lore,
yeah,
the version we get, for example, what happened at Mount Ararat,
yes,
and things like that,
yes,
it's often said that and obviously when you read things like the Tyranid Codex, when you only get the a version from an Imperium perspective,
yes,
and when you get the little fluff pieces in the Xenos books, which are the Imperium versions of stuff, or like a report from we get the lore is often very much what is delivered from an Imperial perspective. So you can allow for the truth to be something different from what is written down in these things.
Yeah, there's many different versions of the truth. Truth is written by the victors, and there's also, actually, they do it in the Heresy. There's different perspectives that they give you of the same event, and the event is described completely differently, even though it's from. So what is the Heresy? As someone's pointed out here, as our Lord and Saviour, the Lord Master Luton said, there is no 40k canon. Everything is up for grabs, which is...
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
Part of the beauty of it. There's stuff that is more set in stone but it's all very malleable, which is why we love it so much. It's a creative universe.
Sea Dragon also says, I'm about to make some Renegade Dark Mechanicum Knight, not a Chaos Knight.
Nice.
Is there any lore about this? I think the Dark Mechanicum stuff is quite limited. I've certainly only encountered them in other Chaos books where they've gone to like refuel somewhere, or they've gone to get help somewhere, and you meet a couple of shady Dark Mechanicum characters.
Right.
I don't know if is there anywhere where it's been collated into a whole story?
Shady Dark Mechanicum character hanging outside an SO garage at 2:00 in the morning,
Yes!
with a petrol pump in his hand, saying, "Come in
Yeah.
here, we'll give you a tune-up, it'll be fine, petrol's free."
Want a hot dog?
Well, there's the
Yeah.
Chaos Knights book, the Chaos Knights Codex.
Yeah.
Surely there's some Chaos stuff in the Chaos Knights Codex.
Well, it's not. No, it's specifically not a Chaos Knight.
Oh, what is
That's what
it?
it says. Specifically,
I wasn't-
Dark Mechanicum.
Oh, Dark
Um,
Mechanicum.
I don't know if Dark Mechanicum has really been fully established as its own thing. We know that people have thought that Mechanicum folk have obviously aided and have fallen to Chaos. And
Oh,
of course, every single Chaos ship needs its dudes on there to work this stuff.
Well, they
So
reckon it's
they're
about
all-
half. During the heresy, they reckon the schism was half went one way, half went the other way for many, many different reasons. But you're right, there are no single sources really, or good sources about the dark mech, the bad mech at the moment, because it's hard to read in the dark. So we can't read much out. But there will be a codex coming to a Games Workshop store near you very soon. Or from Element Games, make sure you use my Element Games link.
But we did see what was his name? Someone's got to remind me. What's the Chaos Tech Marine riding on a giant insect for the Chaos? The
You mean the Lord Discordant?
Lord Discordant. Yeah, he's probably the closest thing, because we actually had a Mechanicum badge on his back. Badge?
Badge. He's a Lord though.
Yeah, but I don't know if we've seen any official Chaos model with a Mechanicum symbol on them before, have we? Before that?
Well,
Not that I can think of.
yeah, but in the new Arcs of Omen book, we've got 1 minute.
Oh. Yes, Primaris do fall into the Black Rage.
So you know you got Vashtor, the god of the machines now, the god of madness and clear gears and clanks and things. You know Vashtor.
Yeah, Vashtor.
You know Vashtor, this fella,
Yeah, Vashtor.
the guy who made him.
Yeah.
It says in here, listen to this, look. Because what he does is he melds souls into engines, so you get demon engines, right?
Yes.
That's his bag, and feed them into the machines, the war engines and demon engines such as soul grinders, calamity engines, or infernal bombards. So we know what soul grinders are
Yeah.
because you can get them. But what the hell is a calamity engine or an infernal bombard? Come to
I
a
want
games
one.
work. Well, yeah,
I
I
want
know.
one.
Calamity engine sounds fantastic, and so
Yeah.
do infernal bombard. So come into a games workshop near you or Element Games and use the voucher.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely getting some bad mech. That's telling you what they're called. There's
Yes.
going to be 2 calamity engines and infernal. Right, moving on.
Yes, I need to quickly go back because I was actually quite
Oh.
worried about that. The Black Rage in
Yeah.
Primaris.
Yeah.
Sorry about my camera; it keeps going this weird thing. Originally, it was believed that the Primaris had got rid of the gene flaw,
Yes.
the Black Rage.
Yes.
And then they went to battle a bit, and they were like, "Yeah, Blood Angels are fit." Oh no! And then someone
No.
turned around and went, "Horus Lubrical!" Oh fuck!
Yeah.
And that was that. So that's what happened there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are all rickety.
Do you know why?
Rickety. Why?
Because the painting studio painted up some Primaris Marines. They did it with the God, what are they called? The
Death Company?
no, the ones who do. I've got the army. The Death Watch. They did it with the Death Watch as well.
Oh.
But the painting studios painted up a bunch of Blood Angels in Death Watch, not Death Watch. Death Company colours,
Company colour,
and put
black.
on the shoulder pads that you could get and things like that, and put them. And the games designers loved them so much that they decided, okay, we'll change the law. They look really cool. Let's make sure that Primaris now do Death Company. So
Thank heavens for that, because Blood Angels Out, the Black Rage, and the Red Thirst are not Blood Angels. They're just Red Marines at that point. and I would have been disappointed.
Very angry red remains.
We've got a quick chance to explain. If you are new to this, you don't know what the Red Thirst and the Black Rage is. It is a flaw in the genes, the very genetic composition of the Blood Angels from Sanguinius. And after Sanguinius, because everyone knows about what happened with the Emperor Sanguinius and Horus, the little tea party.
The Black Rage happened before Sanguinius.
Yes, but it manifested itself. Afterwards, it manifested itself in its current form. Right. So the current form of the Black Rage, after what happened, is that Blood Angels can start to blur the lines of reality, and they start to see, essentially through the eyes of their Primarch, heading to that final battle, heading to Horus. They start to see, the little girl that works at the flower stand suddenly is Horus Lupercal. And they essentially go mad and believe and relive this moment. And there's some great rules in the book about I don't know what's happened to my voice, about your Primaris Marines essentially having different parts of that final battle happen to them during this battle. It changes what bonuses they get.
Lionheart said he thinks it's the Red Thirst that happened before Sanguinius started.
I think it is as well. I think the Red Thirst was before that. The Angels,
yes,
which
and
is
the
vampires.
Black Rage, you're right, is and they basically see visions of Sanguinius dying again, or Horus,
and the battle,
and the little girl on the flower store gets ripped apart.
Yeah,
and they drink.
And
her
essentially,
blood.
what happens is, they when they're fighting people, they believe that person's Horus Lupercal, and they fight a lot harder. They get more attacks and things like that in the game. But it is fantastically written. In the book that we mentioned earlier, The Desolation of Smaug, the third Hobbit book.
Do Dante first though,
where they drop down, and if they're facing the wrong way, they look at their own guys and go, "Horus, it's you!" and run at them. And then you've got these lovely special apothecaries that put their crows out and they go, "No, come on, this way." And they turn them round and make them run at the other guys. But when they get into battle, they will fight and die.
Oh dear. Like herding sheep. Like, this way.
Yes. This way, come on over there. The Red Thirst gets you a different way.
Tasty treat. Here's a really bloody liver.
Yeah.
Come on.
So the Red Thirst, the Blood Angels can activate that.
Yeah.
And it makes them fight harder. There's some great moments where Blood Angels who are about to make their last stand are like, and they turn into little vampire dudes. But what eventually happens is they turn into gibbering blood ghouls, and some of the Blood Angels are excommunicated because they are getting too close to that step where they kind of just want to drink blood and be vampires. And some of them are a bit locked in a big temple, and they're all in there going crazy and going, "Woo, I'm a vampire." That's Blood Angels in a nutshell. We'll do it properly one day.
Yeah, and they're basically, in daylight, their skin sparkles.
Does it? Right? Does it sparkle?
That's what happens in twilight.
Yeah. And they turn into an ashen thing and then...
No, they're just sparkly in twilight. In other ones, it's the ashen thing.
Yeah,
what do you think? I mean, Blood Angels. It's probably the Twilight Saga for Blood Angels in daylight, right? They're not gonna. Yeah.
You don't get a Primarch as beautiful as Sanguinius and it not be related to Twilight.
No.
Right. SoCal Astarte. Are you from
SoCal Astarte?
SoCal.
Yeah.
I'm from California.
SoCal Astarte. Are you from California?
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. You're not.
I'm not going to get my license, my thingy out, but I am. SoCal Astarte says, to Winter's Point, a classic example of Horus Heresy events written from different perspectives is the Burning of Prospero and A Thousand Suns. Yes, those two books.
So Horus Heresy from two different perspectives. That's a bad example, actually, because they do give you two different perspectives of the same event, but at least the same thing happens. I'm instead referring to the Solar War, where when Magnus confronts the Emperor on the Golden Throne and what he thinks happens, and when Vulcan sees they both see two different things happen, and that's the most obvious one. There's another bit in the book with Sevatar, and god damn it, I've forgotten the bit, but Sevatar's doing this thing, and with the and then there's the Ultramarines' point of view, and both of what they report happens is different. Whereas Prospero, I mean, the two books do give you both their POVs and both their arguments and both why they're doing it and but there's no event where this happened differently here and completely differently. Like in both books, the Imperator's Titan blows up and takes down some city blocks. It's not like in one of the books the Titan didn't blow up, and in this book the Imperator Titan did blow. It's not like, it's literally two different stories we're being told. So our narrators are unreliable, even at the point of contact.
Matthew Byro says, doesn't the skin of the Marines turn red? I vaguely remember either the Marines in the temple on Baal or the Knights of Blood not removing their helms because they look like corn bloodthirsters. I've got possibly.
I haven't heard that one before. The skin of Marines will turn different colours depending on the exposure. So the famous black of the salamanders is because of the melanonin and the radiation from their sun, and
they adapt to the environment, don't they? So that they don't frazzle up.
The literal skin of things turning red and looking like bloodthirsters. No, because Khorne chose the World Eaters. Well, he didn't. He chose the Blood Angels first, and he couldn't get them, so he settled for his second best, which is the World Eaters. He settled for the worst Primarch of all time. He settled for Angron's Legion. Yes, I said it. Fight me.
We talk about that in detail.
I need to read it. It was in Devastation of Baal. Was it? I read Devastation of Baal. If you're going to read Devastation of Baal, people, read Dante first. It does follow into each other, Dante, then Devastation of Baal, but it's not a book series that I would highly recommend.
I do recommend it. I really like it.
Why?
All right. I think if you're a fan of Blood Angels at all,
yes,
it's fun. Okay, I get it that it's not.
I think it's good
in the same vein as some of the really good. The things we always go on about, the ADB Night Lords trilogy, things like that. You don't always get that caliber of writing about a specific legion or chapter or whatever. But I found it the way that things unfolded between Tyranids and Blood Angels.
Yeah,
I think that they did a really good job of conveying the absurdity of fighting on a planet that is being invaded by Tyranids, and how awful and how just overwhelming Tyranids are, down to the tiniest little spores, and the way that it talks about Tyranid boarding actions where these huge tendrils smash through the side big enough for a Carnifex to walk in, and how Tyranids just propagate in general, and how the space combat with Tyranids is just hopeless because they just go at you full speed and smash into your ships with big Nautilus looking things. And I think I found it very interesting for that reason, because it was something new.
The scale of it
And the fact that I hadn't really read much about Tyranid stuff.
Cool.
But that's just me. I'm trying to quickly glean whether there is any truth in this red skin Knights of Blood. There probably is. That's why you brought it up. You probably read it somewhere. But I don't think it's a commonly known bit of lore. And but as a lore master,
yes,
you'd hope that Winters knew this off the top of his head.
Well, I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
You have to ask Luton.
I'll have to ask Luton.
Yeah, if it turns out Matthew Byro is now is now on you to prove that.
Yes.
You're going to have to come to us at some point and prove that their skin turns red.
Yes.
Winters, no one's asking any more questions. Guys, do you have any more questions? And the other thing, is Sky here? Sky, are you here? I
don't think Sky's here.
I don't think you're here, so we're going to leave that.
Yes.
Unless you make yourself known.
Okay. Because he did have a question in the Discord. And if you want to ask questions in the Discord, then become a Tier 2 channel member. And then you can join the Discord and answer questions there. And we'll definitely answer those questions at some point. So is there any current lore to say if Sanguin's body is bones or now in stasis? According to the lore, he's dead.
He's dead, yeah.
Dead. What current form where he is in pieces or bits, or we don't know. He's dead.
He's one of the ones that we can be cool with that. And really, it doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't make sense unless it is a big model thing. It doesn't make sense to bother about him with this when there's so much else. There's so many other Primarchs you could work with who don't have to have a massive retcon to get going. Not that they won't do it, because I know everyone's very cynical about GW, but I think there's plenty of others to have a look at first.
Who's cynical about?
Just a few people here and there are a bit cynical about.
Why would you be cynical about GW? You'd probably be cynical about Wizards of the Coast. Do you hear what's going on with D&D right now? What a shitstorm that is, man.
That's mean.
Yeah, man. They threw the baby out of the bathwater with that one.
They did, and I've already seen the memes, the memes about like first time with the Warhammer players,
right? Yeah,
talking to the Wizards of the Coast guys,
yeah,
but the D&D guys.
But yeah, Paizo seem to be pulling it out of the bag and sorting them out, and Wizards of the Coast are going to backtrack heavily. But I think they've just, the thing that made that community great, the D&D community, was the OGL, was the ability for everyone in there. They had an open license in the way Games Workshop doesn't have an open license, because D&D was dying. 20 years ago, D&D was dying. Why are we talking about D&D? But I want to get this. D&D was dying D&D. 20 years ago. No one was playing it. I played it. Did you ever play at Warsmith, Chris?
I'm playing it currently.
You're playing it currently, AD, and it was dying out and getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And there were many other types of role playing games as well. White Wolf and the Vampire Masquerade series with that was really big. But so what D&D did was they said everyone could use this. Pathfinder could use this. There were some cyberpunk settings that used it. Everyone can use their rule system. You guys go wild, and that's pretty much credited with saving Dungeons and Dragons, because now all over the internet it's a system that everyone uses all the time. D&D Beyond had like 100,000 subscribers on, and I said had because now it's got much less after the shit they pulled, and and they turned into this supermassive brand. And then like a couple of weeks ago, D&D decided to say that the license that they said, and on the license they said, we're giving this in perpetuity for permanently, we'll never roll this back, that we're now going to charge you, and that you're going to have to do this and you're going to have to do that, and blah blah blah, and if you don't sign up to this in 7 days or something, then you're fucked. And even the people who wrote the old license, who now work for Paxo, which are now Pathfinder, even those guys turned around to say, 1 minute, I'm the lawyer that wrote that, and this is what it means, and we would be willing to fight this. But no, they were just a big greedy company trying to squeeze as much money out of all of the content creators, and not only that, squeeze as much money out of all the content creators who use the OGL, but the other thing they wanted to do was, when you signed the new license, you were essentially giving up all of your creative work to Wizards of the Coast for free. It says that they owned the rights to your creation. They stole what you have made. So they would steal everything that everyone made from that point forward. They would monetize almost everything that everyone made from that point forward, and they would have the ability to cut you out of the license. It was just from a license that was supposed to be indelible, was supposed to last forever and ever and ever. It was one big ball sack of a sucky thing, and they're going over the coals right now because of it.
Well, it does make you wonder, was really whoever made that final decision, how disconnected from reality were they, to think that everyone would be like, oh no, it's changed now, we better go give up all our rights to everything. It was never going to happen. It was always going to be this, unless it's a publicity stunt.
It's not. It cost them so much money.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It cost them so much money. What it is Wizards of the Coast, owned by Hasbro, multi-billion-dollar company. They never mentioned because as well as D&D, Chris, they have, what's that card game? Magic the Gathering?
Yep.
Yeah, so they have Magic the Gathering, they have D&D, and in all their financials year on year, they never mention them. They just mention the sales and the sales and the sales. They were never big enough to bother shareholders. That take of the money, Magic and D&D was never big enough, even though it was probably in the hundreds of millions. was not big enough to bother shareholders about. So they just bundled it all up into the thing. And then they started reporting on it. And I think there was some hedge fund thing that did a report just to find out how much money Magic the Gathering and D&D was making, and it turned out it was making a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
So then when that came to the surface, all the higher ups were like, hey, let's bleed this monkey dry. And then before you know it, you have Zinguinius back in 40k.
Yeah.
And he's lost a feather.
And Magic the Gathering, they've been warned as well that they are oversaturating the Magic market with too many additions, with too many like expansions.
Yeah.
They used to just do 3 during each season, and now they're doing like 20 other ones in between.
They went batshit crazy in the last year, and they've tanked that market too.
And they've tanked it, and they put out the 40k stuff and everything, and there's like 20 crossovers going on at the moment as well with Magic, and it's just blowing it.
Yeah,
away.
so I love it. The meme, the 40k thing, and first time, huh?
Patrick Davis actually has quite an interesting question.
Yeah.
Do you think Imperium Secundus will come back to haunt Bobby G?
No.
Why?
Because no one knows about it except Bobby G and a couple of other people.
Do you not think it'll be used as an initiator to cause a major strife, though?
No, because you've got to remember that after the Horus heresy and the scouring occurred, Guilliman and the Lion and a bunch of other people, thousands of Space Marines, hundreds of thousands of Zulus who were around during Imperium Secundus knew about it then. So it's not about, hey, look, there's a new bit of news that we now know in the 40s. Way back then, people would have discussed it and talked about it, and the higher-ups would have known it. It would have made its way to the High Lords of Terror. You telling me after it all, that Rogel Dawn and the Russ didn't have conversations with the Lion and Guilliman to say, what's this Imperial Secundus stuff that we're hearing about? It's don't think about it in isolation. Think about it as a continuous story. It won't come back and bite him in the ass. He did the right thing.
Okay, you heard it here.
Hmm.
And it does beg the question as well, is that what will be the catalyst? How are they going to work in the next major event in Warhammer 40k? Because we've got many moving pieces.
Well, they're doing it right now.
They're doing it right now with this guy.
It's happening right
Vashok,
now.
or whatever his name is.
Vashtor and Abaddon are launching space hulks across the galaxy to get the bits of the MacGuffin which will unlock the lock, which will change the fate of the universe. Angron's coming back. We're seeing all the pictures. The Lion's going to be coming back. We're seeing all the pictures. They're moving the timeline forward again right now.
Because I'm not cool enough to get sent all these new books, so you're gonna have to tell me what's going on in them off camera at some point.
I did a video. It's like 15 minutes long. Did you watch it?
I listened to your entire live stream back catalogue with just audio. Yeah. And I haven't watched the one that might actually help me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because all that other stuff was just like...
It's like, well, what are you painting right now?
What am I painting?
Yeah.
Black Templars.
Well, while you're painting, well, next time you put that on for 15 minutes, that will tell you it'll catch you up. Everyone else on YouTube was doing Arcs of Omen detachments and match play and this breaks that and this, and I was like, fuck that. This is the law.
Let's find out what's going on.
This is the important shit.
Yeah. Okay. That's where it's moving on.
Yeah, man.
Right. Let me run through this again. So
yes,
we're going to do. How often are we going to do these winters? Are we going to do them every now and again? Just like we're going to throw them out there.
I don't know how often. I mean, I've got a headache. How long can you? How many times can you? What are you saying? Every other day, every other month, twice a year, yearly?
Well, yeah.
What are your thoughts? Tell me your thoughts.
Well, what I want to do is I want to give people enough time to think up some real good lore questions for the next one. Right. Because we're quite happy to just answer 3 questions during a whole thing and just have a massive conversation, but we need inspiring questions that lead into things, and we want you to come with us on that journey, and you can launch questions off of questions and things like that. But have a think about some of the things that don't necessarily need answering to bring things to a conclusion, but maybe needed a good discussion because they're overlooked or things you've read about. Get them primed, get them ready. There's two ways that you can do this, by the way. So first of all, on the Winters SEO Discord, there is like an STC thread. It's all very new, so you just go in there and you can write a lore question in there. And as you'll see in the next episode that we're going to record, one of the Winters SEO Discord members has asked a question that we've talked about a little bit that we want to go into detail on it. It's a
good question.
It's a good question. Go read that, or check out the next episode when we're going to discuss that, and use that as inspiration because that's the kind of thing we're looking for. We want to get into nice, deep discussions.
Well,
the law.
We do. That's the perfect way to, and then we can have a good ramble and a good discussion with you guys. But we also like things right at the other end of the scale, such as what kind of slippers does Kurz use? Those things as well, like the...
You can ask that,
zebra slippers, I think. With the zebra heads, with his feet up the bumhole area, that's definitely what Kurz would use, with real zebras.
And then there's little things in here, like Viridian Shallows that says, what was the original in-law purpose of the butcher's nails? Well...
You hit that.
As I understand it, it's always been a piss-off device, right? It's always been there to keep you in a state of agony, in a state of pain. Was there a reason before that?
What was the original in-law purpose of the butcher's nails? They were invented by humans during the dark age of technology. What their original purpose is probably something to do with an MUI uplink or some kind of... It was probably because it's plugging in to literally the spinal column and the back of the brain and activating stuff. So Luton's done a thing on this before where it probably had some external function like a black carapace does or an MUI does or a UPA does or something like that. But by the time we get to the Crusade, we find these high riders of the humans, embedding them into gladiators so that it puts them in perpetual pain and agony and distress, which can only ever be satiated by violent combat. And then it actually makes it pleasurable violent combat. So the in-law purpose for the butcher's nails is to turn humans into absolute savage beast monstrosity gladiators.
Angry. And
Angron, being a bitch, did that to his legion.
Oh, there's so much Angron chat in tomorrow's episode. That's why we have the Malcador of lore here, because I wasn't actually fully aware of what the Dark Age use of it was. But yeah, Zilla Gills also said that wasn't the theory that it was like Black Carapace as well.
It was meant like the Black Carapace to interface with machines. Yeah, it's this thing. It's this cradle. So that wasn't its a pain machine wasn't its original purpose. It had some other function. There is in the World Eaters book, there is a thing in there where the World Eaters go up against a species of humans, and ultimately all the humans running around and the millions and the billions and that they fight against, the billions that they fight against, just don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. It's party time for the World Eaters. They're going in there and making hills and mountains and chasms out of humans because for some reason they keep throwing themselves in. Because it turns out that the only remaining humans, there's 1,000 or so of them in these hibernation things plugged in. And all of these other humans running around out there, they're like clones, they are hybrids, and they can interface with all of them and move them around. But really, they stay in their sleeping pods in the metaverse all the time, chilling and playing video games and stuff like that and doing all the thing. And the suggestion there is that the cradle that they have, which links them to everything and it's of a similar, I think Angron actually says it, I forget who says, but it's suggested that it functions in a similar way to the butcher's nails. So something like that, something like the Black Carapace, but it's Dark Age of technology. Who knows what it originally was for?
all that stuff's gone now.
Yeah, do Space Marines fart? Yes, Mikey P.
Sullivan
humans-
Gilbert.
Yeah.
So, well, I think we're about to say the
Yeah.
same one. If humans grow fungus in their toenails, do orcs grow humans in theirs? Absolutely yes.
Yes.
Of course they do.
Yeah. Sasha V says, is it true that World Eaters were actually meant to be the healers and were empathetic? Quipster believes in that. I'd completely disagree with that. Listen to the STC that's going to come out tomorrow. I think that's not a good... I think they were always supposed to be absolute savage killers, world enders, a bit like the Death Guard.
Yeah.
So...
I think my brain is hurting, my ears are hurting, and we're not. We're reaching the I think the natural end. We've been going for 2 hours because we definitely started at 8:00.
Lionheart's asked this twice as well. How excited are you guys for the line returning,
right.
and will there be conflict with the Lion and Guilliman? Yes, every time a Primarch returns, it's a good thing. Will there be conflict? It's 40k. There will be conflict. How big it will be, who knows? But there'll be conflict. It's 40k. They never really got along to begin with, particularly when the Line nuked bits of Macragge. I mean, you don't get over that. Dropping a bomb on your home planet. Imagine if Guilliman actually dropped atom bombs on... Well, you can't bomb them on Caliban anymore because there is no Caliban. But, it just goes to show that the Guilliman was a better person, was able to... he broke his sword, kicked him out. I don't know if there's any forgiveness since. I don't know if they've met since then. They probably would have met since then. I don't know. There's going to be conflict. It's going to be great. Anyway, hit the like button. We're wrapping it up. Well, this was good. How often are we going to do this, Warsmith Chris?
We're gonna let's see how it goes. Let's get everyone's brains juices going. We know how to make the sound work now. Not that there was any problems at the start, because nothing happened.
Don't know what you're talking about.
That's wrong. We started exactly where we meant to.
Yep.
So we'll be able to give it the full thing next time.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I had a great time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the bit where I could just talk through mime at the start. That was really good because
Nice.
I've always wanted to express myself through interpretive dance, and I got a chance to do it.
I am aware on podcasts I'm really bad at interrupting people because I'm so you have to tell me to shut the fuck up if I'm doing it too much, but I'm trying. I'm pulling myself. I'm trying to not do it so much.
He's been fine, hasn't he, guys? It's very cool information that you've brought forth.
Thanks.
And I think we've answered some pretty important questions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this when we got going. It's an experimental idea. As I said, it came from Winter's mind in the middle of the night just a couple of days ago. So we've brought it to life, to fruition straight away. But it does completely revolve around whether you guys want to come here and ask questions and have a chat about lore and whatever. There are we could mix it up a little bit. We could come with a few of our own questions ready to go. And start talking, then we could feed in other questions. There's many ways we can do it. But the point is, we just wanted to hang out with a bunch of cool people who come and watch us and chat a bit of lore, chat a bit about the stuff that goes on in our favourite world, our favourite universe.
Warsmith Chris, say the STC lore cast live stream doesn't take off.
Yeah.
Say it. How disappointing would that be?
It would be really sad. I'd cry.
I would cry. This needs to be successful.
Yeah.
My community can make it successful. I don't know what more we could do. What more can we do? Shall we do the next one naked?
Yeah. Well, I was wanted to do that anyway. But you said at the last minute, don't push it too far in the first episode.
It's just
put an Udi thing on, whatever this is that I've got on.
I just like seeing I like it when you're naked. I like your nipples. They're very curious. I like the third one in particular.
Curious. Yeah. The fourth and the fifth one, you can't see because they're around the back, but it really does spice things up when
I think you should share it with the world. No need to be ashamed.
Yeah. So if you want to see that, we'll do that. Hot tub stream, absolutely. We'll make that happen. We just gotta.
How about a drunk one? We'd have to do that on a Friday or Saturday night. Drunk.
I will 100% join you for a drunk lore.
I don't know whether that's a good idea though, because I've seen you drunk and you've seen me drunk. Imagine us doing drunk lore.
I've got to say before you, I'm a relatively good drunk. I have seen you drunk.
What are you saying?
All I'm saying is that I remember the very first time I met you in person.
Yeah.
Trying to check into a hotel at midnight, and you were grabbing my ID off me. You were stood. It was the big.
What?
Yeah, you don't remember it. Of course you don't.
This is
it
in
was
person.
in Manchester. This is in Manchester.
Is that the first time I personally met you?
Possibly, or I think it was the first time we met in person.
Okay.
And we were standing. I was trying to check in after the event, and you were absolutely awful.
Oh, I remember.
Absolute liability. And I was like, get a load of this guy. Like, what's going on with this guy?
Oh, the memories.
Yeah,
We definitely shouldn't do a law live stream drunk.
Well, if we shouldn't, but if you guys want to make it happen,
If you, well, someone has to. So if you're watching this after the fact, please write in the comment section below whether you think it's actually a good idea to do a law drunk live stream. By the way, I don't think it's a good idea. What are your view on it? Actually, if thumbs up or thumbs down on you? What do you, Jen?
me,
Yeah,
I'm always on board. For that.
always on board for alcohol.
Yeah.
What would-
Jordan Alcock just became a member of the 13th Winters.
Thank you so much. So clearly he's
Tier 3.
Tier
the
3.
Big tier. All the stuff.
All the tiers.
Cheers to you. This is just tea. This is just Yorkshire Gold tea.
And Mick the Machine, member for 9 months, drunk live stream. He really wants it. Thank you for being a member for 9 months. And Mick, thank you for being a moderator for Say Hi Paul. You are a legend. Sasha has been a member for 2 months. Definitely here for Drunk Law. Lots of people seem to want Drunk Law, but I know it's going to be bad, Chris. Dear, what would you drink if we did a Drunk Law STD?
Bourbon.
Bourbon.
or no, that's the thing. We could just do beers, keep it light, but there's going to be a lot of gas later on.
Dear. I could do vodka shots, and then we could just smash.
I'm up for that.
Mick the Machine. Wow, Winters knows who I am. Yes, Mick, I know you.
Wait, this is Mick.
Yeah,
is this Mick
the Machine?
Yeah, but Mick the Machine, is that Mick with Mick? I know you, Mick, don't I?
You know him.
You're
famous.
the Mick that I know. The Mick that I know, who's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hello, Mick.
Kieran's dad.
Kieran's dad. Yeah.
Everyone knows you, Mick.
Everyone knows you. You're the famous one here, Mick.
Yeah.
Forget about it. You're the one.
Yeah, you turned up late, though, so you'll have to go back. Mind you, can skip the first 38 minutes because there was a bit of a shit show.
Why? Nothing happened.
Yeah, it was perfect. I'll edit it out. Right. Okay, so let's wrap this up. I had a great time. It looks like next time we might be doing it drunk.
Yeah. Thank you for staying with us, all the people that stayed with us. We looks like we're going to be drunk. We're going to do these again. What we'll do is we'll just give you some notice. Like Winters will say it on his when we decide we're going to do the next one, he'll say it on his stream. I'll put it up on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, I put up a story on it. It's DZTV_Warsmith Chris, and I'll do a story to say we're going to do this. We're going to do the thing. So go and follow me, and I'll do the thing. And I usually put a horrible image in the background there.
Do you know how to collaborate that with someone? So then there's a share thing you can do on Instagram.
Well, I do it, and then you tag it back, and then it comes back to me.
Do I?
Or Cat does, maybe.
No. Yeah. Well, next time I see one from you, I won't touch any buttons. I'll just hand the phone straight to Cat.
All right. Okay.
To make sure it get. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she does something, and it comes back, and
yeah.
Yes, we're drunk. We're drunk, boss Ferratu. Next, we're not yet, but we will be one day, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I want to encourage all this drinking, but it is really nice. And thanks for following me on Thingy. I'll make sure I do the thing. I don't post very much because I'm no quipster when it comes to social media.
No one is like Quipster.
Yeah. But I'll use it to send a message on the story that there's a thing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
It's been great. Thank you so much for joining us, honestly, though.
Right.
For sticking through the things that didn't happen and then continuing to watch this all the way through. You've been amazing. Let's hope that
Right.
Winters knows how to end this. Otherwise, we're on all night.
Yeah, I'm going to move some buttons around. Now, when I press this, the sound might still go.
Okay, well, I'll end the call here, but we should really wave and say bye and I love you to everybody.
Yeah, because I don't know if I can press the normal deck because I've got three. Normally, I've got one thing going on. And okay, so bye, everybody. Bye.
Love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. You've all been very kind.
But I'm pressing it now.
Press it.
I'm pressing it now. No, they can definitely still hear me.
They can hear us.
They can hear us. It's jumping around. So now I'm going to press the other button over here. And then it should.
Okay.
So do you want to say goodbye again?
Bye again.
Goodbye
Thanks.
again. This should stop
audio.
it. Bye. Audio. Bye audio.
You. Bye. Hi. Am I gone? I'm still here, guys. I'm still here. I've never left you. Love you. Bye. Love you. I've got to stay here all night, apparently. Bye again. I'm being told to say goodbye again. It's just me. So I'll tell you a story.